On October 18th, my friend Hunter and I went to the No Kings protest in Marion, Illinois. It wasn't terribly far from us. I had some time before I had to go to work. So we decided to go there and interview some folks. And this is kind of a follow-up video. I wanted to share my experience. You know, I obviously didn't upload every single thing, every single conversation, every interaction we had. So I wanted to make this video as sort of a follow-up and what I really thought of the protest. So right off the bat, you know, we had some people who were actually really friendly. As we pulled into a church parking lot because the parking lot near the roundabout where the protest was taking place was already packed. So we pulled into a local church that had their parking lot open, and right off the bat, my Hunter was like, "Hey, I forgot my hat." And some guy not too far from us was like, "Hey, you need a hat." So already we had some pretty good experiences. So as we're walking up, eventually there was a couple in front of us. They were the first people we interviewed. You see it on the video. The guy kind of motioned to the lady with the red hair, saying that we were recording, and then she came up, or she looked back at us, began talking, so we went up and interviewed her a bit. And that's where you saw where she obviously was very uncomfortable. You could kind of tell that she knew that we weren't there in support of the protest. And then she demanded, like, "Hey, you know, I don't want my," well, she didn't demand, that was a bit of a stretch of words, but she basically said, you know, "I don't want my image to be on the internet. I don't want to post anywhere." But, you know, we had to educate her, saying, you know, you have no expectation of privacy out in public. So, you know, she was expressing her First Amendment rights, so were we. And as we were walking away, I didn't hear the conversation exactly or what it was that she was yelling at us, but she was attacking our faith, basically. She said something along the lines of like, "Would Jesus do this?" or whatever. And, you know, we had just got there. We didn't do anything. I mean, I corrected her because she believes that apparently the US is just randomly bombing boats. I mean, so I actually had a few people mention the Venezuelans' boats. Yeah, people really believe that the US is just randomly blowing up boats. That's kind of scary. People can actually believe that. These were well-coordinated attacks on gang members trying to smuggle in drugs. Think about it. If those drugs came to the US, which, I mean, yes, there's already tons of them already here, but blowing up that boat not only got rid of those gang members, but it got rid of the drugs that could have came in here. And you know how many Americans could have overdosed on that? You know how many illegal immigrants could have overdosed on that? So I don't really see, you know, why people are upset about it. Well, I know why. It's because they're very much misinformed. They're misguided. You know, they're watching the news and they're not actually looking it up themselves. So that was a pleasant first conversation. I was a little bit worried that most of them were going to go like that, but luckily they didn't. We got to interview a man named Dennis. He was running on the Republican ticket, which I kind of find interesting. This was a
gay man
running as
Republican
who had already said he doesn't like
Christian nationalist
or
MAGA.
So if I'm looking at this correctly, he's kind of like eliminated any voter base he had. You know, I'm definitely being a little bit funny, but like most people, I mean, a lot of hard left-leaning people are going to see it, the little R by your name, and they're immediately going to dismiss you. So he said he doesn't like MAGA, which, I mean, is what, 99% of Republicans. And you say he doesn't like Christian nationalists. Some people are going to interpret that as Christians, period, because, I mean, you know, I had my Jesus Loves You shirt on, so he didn't seem to have a problem talking to me at all. But one thing I noticed during our conversation is, you know, when he was trying to defend J.B. Pritzker, I mean, I didn't do a good job going against him. But one thing is that when I asked him, you know, what he liked about J.B. Pritzker, what exactly he's done, is all he mentioned that he was a decent guy, that he apparently cares for Illinois, yet he couldn't tell me any policies or anything that JB actually stands for that's helped our state. So that was very telling. I mean, definitely do your research on the gentleman, see if you'd want to vote for him if you live anywhere near Marion, Illinois. So yeah, do your own research on him. But I mean, I hope he gets some votes. He seemed like a decent dude, but like, with what I said earlier, you've kind of eliminated a decent chunk of your voter base, man. I don't know. I believe it's the fifth gentleman, the man wearing the mask. I thought it was interesting that, I mean, I believe he was the only one who was fully covering himself. I don't understand why people are like necessarily scared to go out and express their views. I mean, I hate it. I hate that some people fear either losing their job or fear of people judging them or whatever. I actually saw an old buddy of mine. I mean, we weren't like super close friends, but I did recognize him. He recognized me. He was kind of shocked to see me there, and I was like, well, I'm actually, I'm on the other side. I'm just here to ask questions. But it does kind of break my heart a little bit. People are afraid to, go out there, express themselves. I mean, I know, I don't believe I would be held accountable or whatever. I don't believe I would get fired for what I do. I mean, I sure hope I would not. I mean, who knows? But no, it really does make me sad that some people have to, kind of live in fear that they might get fired or terminated or doxxed or whatever just for being out there supporting a cause you believe in. We shouldn't have that in our country. And that's one thing, like I've been a little bit worried about. My friend's been a little bit worried about. Last thing we want is to get doxxed, but I feel like it's easier to talk to me face to face than it would be if I had like a mask on or something. So, if I was truly afraid to do this kind of thing, or I was afraid of consequences, I wouldn't be doing it. So then there was the sweet little old lady we talked to with the real artistic sign, and she was super duper sweet. She really seems like a genuine person, but the things that she was saying just kind of shows just how misguided some people are. It kind of broke my heart, and it also kind of I asked her where the term "no kings" came from. And I believe she was the one that said, well, I just saw it on the internet. And that's kind of that herd mentality that the left really has. And sometimes the right does, absolutely. But the herd mentality that the left has, I mean, like, Free Palestine is, you cannot tell me Free Palestine is not a herd mentality thing. If most of these people, let's be honest, a lot of the people who are protesting that are a part of the LGBTQ community. If any of them were to step foot in Palestine, they would be killed. Genuinely, like, do your research on this kind of stuff. They want to like cry how homophobic, transphobic, and racist America is. If you go to Palestine, they will kill you. They absolutely will kill you for that kind of thing, for being part of that community. And it really, like, I'm at almost a loss for words, but that proves how much the left is part of this herd mentality. It's whatever buzzwords next is, Free Palestine, it's I stand with Ukraine, it's no kings, it's whatever. They're always looking for something. They're looking for the next big trend. They're looking for the next big buzzwords. And that's exactly what these No Kings protests are. Because I didn't hear one single thing that Trump has been doing that's king-like. Or if I did, it was either misinformation or disinformation. And my reaction truly to being at this protest just goes to show how many folks are truly being misled by the mainstream media. Let's be honest, most of the folks that were out there were older white people. And that just kind of goes to show, what do old white people still have? Cable. What do they watch? Fox, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, all these things. And all of them, I mean, except for Fox, of course, I don't even know why I mentioned Fox, but still, there is a very obvious bias. While people in the younger generations, we have our cell phones now. We have a lot more places to get our news. Usually I get my news from Ground News. I wish I was sponsored by them, I wish I could have a little QR code in the corner. But really, so I use Ground News because it shows me on what percentage the left is reporting on a certain issue, what percent of the right is reporting on a certain issue. And that kind of helps me, separate the bias. And if you're just sitting on your recliner and you're retired and you're soaking up and you're soaking up and you're soaking up like a sponge, a news network that's dedicating to hating our president, well, then I think you're also going to hate the president. You're going to believe everything they say about him. You're going to believe that they're randomly bombing boats without any plan. You're going to believe that he wants to be a king. You're going to believe that he's dead serious about all the Trump 2028 merch that he has. You're going to believe all of these things because you can't research yourself, or you refuse to research yourself, or you don't know how to do your own research. This generation is the most informed generation. Whether that's a good or bad thing, we definitely are. We have supercomputers at our fingertips now. We can look up anything that we want on these things, whether it's good stuff or bad stuff. We can find videos that people would never be able to see like 20 years ago. I mean, they probably could if they really dug, but you get what I'm saying here. We are the most informed generation, and as you can see, a lot of young men are definitely leaning right now. They're leaning towards the right, especially with the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk. Church attendance is up, and a lot of young men are really tired of being called racist, misogynistic, all this crap whenever we're not. So there was a couple that we spoke to, then there was a man sitting in a lawn chair. I didn't put the full conversation of us speaking with the man in the lawn chair. But the couple and the man in the lawn chair, I asked them the question, do you guys believe that Trump is too far gone to be saved? And they both said no, which I thought was absolutely awesome. So there are definitely some level-headed people here at this protest. It was really refreshing to see that. Like, I honestly was expecting one of them to say like, oh, yeah, no, that man is way too far gone. But no, through Jesus Christ, no one is too far gone, which, I'm very glad that they said that, because, those are some Bible-believing Christians. I'd like to talk with them some more and really dig into them. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, absolutely. Those folks were awesome to talk to. So yeah, this protest, I definitely learned a lot. I think it was a good thing for me to go to. I'm really glad I got to see the other side. I'm glad I got to hear them out, because I did definitely a lot more listening than I did talking, I believe. Someone can tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it was really nice to hear the other side for once, and it was really nice to actually, do it in a sense to where, I'm not watching a YouTuber go to one where it's super rowdy or whatever. I'm actually going into one myself and talking with folks. And if there's another No Kings protest around and I'm able to get it off, I'm able to go there, yeah, I'll be there. I would definitely like to continue this kind of content. And, if you liked this response video, let me know down below. Be sure to watch the full video we posted. What was it? Just almost 35 minutes long. Yeah, be sure to watch it if you haven't. We had some good conversations. I said it at the end of the video. I definitely could have pushed back. I definitely could have fact checked a lot more, but I really did want to talk to as many people as I could. And I believe I talked to the lady with the really cool sign the longest. If you're watching this, hey, you're awesome. But no, it was a really good time. I'm really glad I got to go there, hear the other side. Did they change my mind? No. No. And I knew going in more than likely they wouldn't change my mind. But we definitely got to find a lot of things that we agreed on, which, I think that's the most important part to it. Hey, Republicans, conservatives, I encourage you to go do this. Instead of being on Facebook and calling them all idiots, instead of calling them all names, instead of posting the middle finger emoji, why don't you go talk to them? If you really think there's something wrong with them, go talk to them. Go see if you can change their mind. Do it in a respectful way. I've definitely been caught in the hype cycle of, oh yeah, let's own the libs and drink out of my leftist tears mug. I'm not about that. I'm about showing the love of Christ through my actions the best I can. I know I'm a sinner. I know I fall short of the glory of Christ every single day, but I hope by doing this, and I hope by having respectful conversations, I can show them that, hey, I'm not just doing this for clout or for clicks. I legitimately want to know why they think that way, why they believe this way. And, as I said with the older gentleman at the end of the video, our country's going to get nowhere unless we talk things out, unless we hear each other out. There was a comment on one of the shorts we posted. It's like, this isn't what we need. I'm like, yes, we do. We need dialogue. Because when you don't have dialogue, that's when assassinations happen. That's when violence happens. If you don't talk to people, if you don't understand where they're coming from, or you don't try to understand where they're coming from, then you just need to sit down, be quiet, because you don't care. You don't care. You want to sit behind your screen, be a little keyboard warrior, and cuss people out, call them idiots, call them every name in the book, when you won't go out there in person and talk to them. You know, talk to these people, spread the love of Christ to these people. That's what some of them need. We know darn well how far gone a lot of the left is. I mean, we see it with all the violence that's happening on the left. So go out there, spread the love of Jesus to them. Ask if they need some prayer. That's how we're truly going to unite and heal this country. Okay? Can you guys do that? Instead of just sharing anti-left memes all the time and sharing vulgar things about them, can you guys just actually pray for them? When's the last time you prayed for your political opponents? Because I know most of the people that are watching this video agree with me on a lot of stances, but really think about it. When's the last time you prayed for the left? I mean, I'm sure you prayed for Charlie Kirk's family when after he passed, but did you pray for the shooter's family? I know I did. I couldn't imagine being in their shoes, knowing what my child did. Have you stopped to think about what they're going through? They're Republicans just like us. Yeah, I believe that's what, I believe he was raised in a Republican family and then he got indoctrinated to the left. Have you prayed for his family? I really do encourage you, my fellow conservatives, my fellow Republicans, my fellow Christians, keep praying. Pray for those who persecute you. Pray for the left. Spread the love of Jesus as much as you can. Stop sharing these memes, these hateful memes about them. Okay? We're all human. We are all made in the image of God. Well, if you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button down below. Be sure to follow us on TikTok and Facebook. We try to post on everything simultaneously, but you know, it can be hard. YouTube's definitely where most of the videos will go first. We appreciate all the support lately. You know, be sure to share our stuff when you see it. Helps us out a lot. But other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. God bless you guys.
Nigga.